Anytime you talk about a Pixel device on the internet, like my brand new Pixel 10 Pro Fold, you instantly start hearing about the fact that this runs a Tensor processor, and that means it is slow. It is slower than something like the Galaxy Z Fold 7, which of course runs the Snapdragon 8 Elite. People look at benchmarks and they draw conclusions. Are they right to do that? Is this an appreciably slower device than this when using the device, not just running benchmarks? In this video, we're going to try to answer exactly that question. Rather hypocritically, though, we are going to start off by looking at a benchmark, but it's not just a normal benchmark. This is a stress test because I want to give us sort of a baseline for the numbers and then the actual performance. So this is the Wildlife Extreme Stress Test. I just posted this over in the Discord server, and this is our Pixel 10 Pro Fold. You can see the best loop and the lowest score. I'm going to show you a table in a minute that'll put all of this together, so don't freak out too quickly. But you can see what the performance looked like here. We have the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, and you can see that performance. And you have the Galaxy Z Fold 7 and its performance. Here is the table that I promised you. You can see that the best loop, the Galaxy Z Fold 7, is more than double the best loop of the 10 Pro Fold. If you don't know what I'm talking about, best loops and stuff like this, basically you run this thing and it's like it's playing a video game. It's a 3D thing that's being rendered, and it takes like a minute or two, and then when it finishes it, it does it again and again and again and again 20 times. And the point is, you want to see what the best score was, but you also want to see what loop 15 was when the device is getting warm. Is the score dropping? That's what we're talking about. So the Z Fold 7 went from 6,700 to 4,149. That's a pretty big drop. But notice that the low score for the Fold 7 is still significantly higher than the highest score of the 10 Pro Fold. Now, the folds are more stable. The Pixel folds, I should say, are more stable. The temperature increase is about 11 or 12 degrees Celsius across the board, so that's interesting. It's not like the old Tensors that got really hot really quickly. The frame rate range, you can see there between 17 and 49 versus 12 to 21. And interesting again, the battery life drop. 15% of battery lost on the Fold 7. We only lost 12% on the 10 Pro Fold. That's better than last year. So some information to deal with. Of course, the new Pixel does also have a physically larger battery. So is it more efficient and that's why the battery dropped less, or is it just the larger battery? All right, guys, so we have my Galaxy Z Fold 7 on the left. We have my Pixel 10 Pro Fold on the right. We're not going to be comparing the 9 Pro Fold because I think it would be a little bit superfluous. If the Pixel 10 is slower than the Z Fold 7, then the Pixel 9 is also going to be slower than the Z Fold 7. What we're going to do now that we have a benchmark number sort of in our heads, we're going to just do things on these phones and see if there is an appreciable difference. We're not just going to look at a benchmark and say we're done. We're going to use the phones and see which one is faster. So we have closed every application. Nothing is running in the background. And let's just start off by opening some applications. And I know that all phones open all apps quickly, but that's kind of my point. Are we going to see an appreciable, noticeable difference on these phones? Z Fold 7 was indeed faster there. What about something like TikTok, multimedia stuff like that? We are playing a little bit faster on the Z Fold 7 once again. Let's fire up the Discord server and see if we can get a difference there. Again, the Fold 7 is faster, not by a large amount, but it is a little bit faster. Let's go into the same section so that we really do have apples to apples, and let's try that one more time. Just a little bit faster on the Fold 7. How about Feedly? This is an application that is slow on every phone that I use it on. That was really, really close. What about something like Threads? That is also really, really, really close. What about YouTube Music? Really, really similar, maybe like a tenth of a second faster on the Fold 7. Let's try something just a little bit more challenging though. We're gonna go into Google Photos, we're gonna click on Edit on both of these phones, and we're gonna see which one can do an AI edit faster. So on both of these, we're just gonna tap on the stump and we're just gonna click on the erase button. You would think the Pixel should be able to do this faster. Keep in mind, a lot of this is happening in the cloud, so it's kind of weird that the Z Fold 7 was fairly significantly faster than the Pixel 10 Pro Fold. Let's try applying a portrait blur. Is there a speed difference there? The Z Fold is done, then the Pixel 10 Pro Fold. Even just backing out, it backs out and reselects faster than the Pixel 10 Pro Fold. What about clicking Reimagine? Again, much faster on the Fold 7. So we can type in something down here and try and change what is in the image. So we've sent this at the same time. We're going to try to generate some flowers. Who's going to get this done first? They both started at about the same time. So since this is in a data center, they really should be pretty much the same. That time the 10 Pro Fold was faster than the Galaxy Z Fold 7. If you're hearing weird noises throughout this video, that's because these two lunatics are in the other room playing. I'm sorry. So now what we're going to do is some video processing. Let's go ahead and download this video off of my Google Photos account. Some highlights from my guy Cam Ward playing against Arizona last week. I think that both of these should be done. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take this over to VN Video Editor. And we're not really going to do anything in particular. We're literally just going to export this at the same quality and just see which one is able to do it fastest. You would think it's going to be the Z Fold 7, but let's find out. We're going to go ahead and export these. We're off, and it looks like a small lead for the Fold 7. We're up to 20. We're at 15 on the Pixel 10 Pro Fold. Now the Pro Fold is at 30, while the other one's at 47. So definitely the Pixel 10 Pro Fold is going to be lagging behind, again, the Z Fold 7 in terms of raw performance. Just simply exporting a video. It is now done. We are at 70% on the 10 Pro Fold. That is a pretty big difference. We're just going to let this play out. How much further behind are we? We are wrapping up right... Oh, come on. You got this. Here we go. There we go. We're done. So I'm definitely not the biggest mobile gamer in the world, but I do think that this is at least worth looking at because a lot of people are, and I think that it also kind of demonstrates the kinds of just processing capabilities that we have here. We're going to go ahead and delete this old world, and we're going to create a world on both of these. And to try and make sure that all of this is kind of, one for one, we're just going to pick a template seed. And let's see if I can click on create at the exact same time on both of these. That should have been pretty darn close. Let's see who can create this world and load in faster. It is the Z Fold 7. The Pixel 10 Pro Fold is loaded in now. Okay, so let's jump into our video settings and let's make sure that everything is kind of one-to-one. So we do have a little bit of a problem here. So graphics mode is set to fancy versus vibrant visuals over here, and I don't know that I can actually change that. Editor Shane here with a little bit of additional context for this. So Minecraft now has this update that's rolled out called Vibrant Visuals, and this update relies on ray tracing to improve the visuals of this game. And strangely enough, the new Power VR GPU that Google is using in the Pixel 10 devices does support ray tracing, but for whatever reason, Google just does not have that enabled. And I think that this is at least somewhat relevant to this sort of performance comparison type thing, because you're seeing a feature that the Pixel 10 literally just can't do. Will Google enable this down the line and therefore enable ray tracing in many other scenarios, many other games? That's possible, but for now, it's just not something you can do. We'll use a mouse and keyboard, and I'll just try to run around like it is, and we'll just see how many, stutters. Do we see anything about this on the Z Fold 7 that looks rough at all? Keep in mind that what it's doing is harder than what the Pixel is doing because it's using this fancy graphical thing, and this seems absolutely completely totally smooth. And let's see how this compares over here. And of course this does feel perfectly fine smooth as well, but I can't really give you like a direct one-to-one comparison because these are the old graphics. So I guess it's good that it is running it just fine. So having watched all of that, I think it's fairly reasonable to come away from this with the impression that, yes, indeed, the Galaxy Z Fold 7 is just the faster phone. It's faster at pretty much everything. It's even faster at doing the Google Photos, like AI stuff that the Pixel is supposed to be faster at. But that being said, at any point in this video, Did you notice the 10 Pro Fold being stuttery, not being smooth, grinding to a halt, glitching out, anything like that? Or are we talking about, in most situations, a second or less? And in worst case scenarios like processing videos, yeah, pretty big difference there. The longer the video, the more that's going to really stand out. But generally speaking, what are we talking about here? I think that so often, us in the tech world, we look at numbers like this and we see 6,700 and 4,100 versus the 10 Pro Fold, 3,000 and 2,600. Wow, that means that the Z Fold 7 should feel like way, 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 way faster than the Pixel 10 Pro Fold. And the reality is, yeah, in some, specific situations, it absolutely is faster. But in normal day-to-day use, we're talking about fractions of a second. So if your question is, which phone is faster? It's the Fold 7 all day, all night, every single day of the week. That's just absolutely the case. Is it that big of a deal? Are you a mobile gamer? Are you processing a lot of video? Then yes. Are you a normal person who is browsing the web? You're scrolling through TikTok, Instagram, you're taking photos, you're just doing like normal stuff? No, it's not that big of a deal at all. Would I fault you for saying I'm paying $1,800 for this phone? I want the fastest possible performance. No, absolutely not. If that is the position that you have, if that's how you feel, that's absolutely valid and I totally understand. I don't really care about that personally. It's not that big of a deal to me, but this is a highly subjective thing. Hopefully this video gives you some objective data to inform your subjective preference on which phone you should be looking at. Guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe for more content like this, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.